ever look out at the ocean, just this massive, wide open space, and wonder how all those giant ships, we're talking container vessels, oil tankers, you name it, don't just run into each other all the time? Well, it's definitely not luck. There's this whole invisible system of traffic laws that governs every single vessel out there, and today we're going to pull back the curtain on those hidden rules.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the why, why these rules even exist. Then we'll get into the core principles of just staying safe out there. After that, we'll look at the classic meetups between ships and what happens when the weather turns and you can't see a thing. And finally, we'll touch on some special vessels that have their own set of rules.
First things first, let's just set the scene. The oceans are, for all intents and purposes, the superhighways of global trade. Keeping order out there is a massive undertaking, but it is absolutely critical for keeping people safe and the world economy moving. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? You've got these behemoths that weigh hundreds of thousands of tons, and they can't exactly slam on the brakes. So what's the universal playbook that keeps everything flowing smoothly, and more importantly, safely? Well, the answer comes down to one acronym, COLREGs. It stands for the International Regulations for Preventing Collisions at Sea. This is it. This is the global rules of the road for every single vessel on the water, from the biggest supertanker right down to a little fishing boat. This is the bedrock of maritime safety.
Okay, so how does this whole thing actually work when you're out on the water? Well, it all boils down to a few core principles that every mariner has to live by no matter what. These are the absolute, non-negotiable fundamentals. First up, Rule 5, lookout. And trust me, this is way more than just one person staring out a window with binoculars. The key phrase here is by all available means. That means, yeah, using your eyes and ears, but also using every single piece of tech you have. Your radar, your AIS tracker that shows you other ships, your VHF radio, all of it, to build a complete 360-degree picture of what's going on around your vessel. Next is Rule 6, all about safe speed. And what's so important to get here is that safe speed is not a number on a speed limit sign. It's a constant judgment call. What's safe on a clear day in the middle of nowhere is wildly different from what's safe in thick fog and a busy shipping channel. It's all about making sure you have enough time and space to react if something goes wrong. And this brings us to a really crucial idea. The ultimate goal of COLRGs is to avoid a risk of collision. That's when a crash is pretty much guaranteed if nobody does anything. But the real job of a good mariner is to avoid a close-quarter situation in the first place, which is when ships just get uncomfortably close. Think of it like this. Avoiding a close-quarter situation is like preventative medicine. Dealing with a risk of collision is emergency surgery. You'd much rather do the first one. So, with those basic principles in mind, let's look at how they play out in the real world. There are pretty much 3 classic ways that ships meet at sea, and each one has its own specific rule telling everybody exactly what to do. The first one is probably the most straightforward. It's when one ship is catching up to another one from behind and needs to pass it. This is the overtaking situation, and it's covered by Rules 13. And the rule here could not be more clear. The ship that's doing the overtaking, the faster one, has 100% of the responsibility to stay out of the way. It's black and white. It doesn't matter who you are or what the other ship is doing. If you're coming up from behind, you're the one who has to make the safe move around them. Period. Next up, we've got the head-on situation. This is pretty much what it sounds like. 2 power-driven vessels are coming at each other on opposite or almost opposite paths. And this one is super intuitive because it's just like driving a car on a 2-lane road. Both ships are required to turn to their right, that's starboard, so they pass each other on their left, or port, sides. It's a simple, predictable move that avoids any who goes where confusion. And finally, we come to the one that can get a little tricky, the crossing situation. This is when the paths of 2 vessels are going to intersect, and if nobody does anything, they're going to collide. All right, let's do a little pop quiz. Put yourself on the bridge, you see another ship, it's off to your right, your starboard side, and your calculations show you're on a collision course. What's the protocol? What's your move? The answer is simple and absolute. If that other vessel is on your starboard side, you are the giveaway vessel. It is your job to take big, obvious action to stay clear, and you should never, ever try to cross in front of them. The other vessel is the stand-on vessel, and their job is just to keep doing what they're doing, maintain their course and speed so that you can predict their movements. This clear division of labor prevents that deadly dance where both ships try to dodge and end up turning into each other. So everything we've talked about so far has a pretty big assumption baked into it, that you can actually see the other ships. But what happens when you can't?
What do you do when you can't even see the front of your own ship? Because the second that fog rolls in, or you get caught in a blinding rainstorm, the entire rule book we've just discussed gets thrown out the window. The rules for seeing other vessels no longer apply. A completely new and much more cautious set of rules takes over.
The moment visibility drops, a specific checklist immediately kicks in. You start sounding your horn in a specific pattern, your fog signal so other ships can hear you. Your lookout becomes even more critical, listening for other ships. You get your engines ready to maneuver instantly. And of course, you slow way down to a safe speed for these new, dangerous conditions.
And this is where Rule 19 becomes your Bible. This is the rule for navigating in restricted visibility. Your eyes are now your radar screen. Your entire world, your whole decision-making process, is based on the little electronic blips on that screen long before you can see or hear a thing. You're basically navigating through a sea of ghosts, and the rules demand that you act on that radar information and that information alone. Finally, it's really important to get that not all ships are created equal in the eyes of COLREGs. There's actually a kind of pecking order or a hierarchy on the seas, and it's all based on how easily a vessel can get out of the way. I mean, just take a look at a mine clearance vessel. Think about what they're doing. They are performing an incredibly dangerous and precise operation. They can't just swerve left or right to avoid you. Because of that, they get a very special status, with unique lights and shapes to let everyone around them know exactly what they're up to. And that special status comes with a very stark warning. The rules say you have to stay away. How far away? 1,000 meters. That's a full kilometer, over half a mile. It's a massive safety bubble that just screams, there is extreme danger here. Do not approach. So you see, the COLREGs are this incredible framework for safety. They give everyone a common language and a predictable set of moves. But they're not a replacement for good old-fashioned seamanship. The rules are the foundation, for sure. But in the end, in that critical moment of decision, safety really rests on the skill, the experience, and the good judgment of the mariner standing watch on the bridge.